So you want financial independence, but you're staring at a wall of investment terms and you don't know where to put your hard-earned money? You're missing out on the biggest wealth building tool available to you. Stick with me for the next few minutes and I'm going to break down the 4 main types of accounts you can use to start building your nest egg, and I'm going to share 3 of the biggest mistakes that cost investors hundreds of thousands of dollars, as well as how you can get this handy cheat sheet full of great tax savings info for 2026. Let's go. Hey everyone, I'm Chalekian, and for over 25 years, I've been helping individuals build, preserve, and enjoy their wealth. In this quick course, we're covering the best ways to save for your golden years and the 4 common types of tax advantage accounts you can use. We'll start with the employer-sponsored plans, the 401k and 403b. Then we'll cover the traditional IRA, the Roth IRA, including the key differences between them, and finally the SEP IRA, which is a game changer for small business owners. All right, let's dive into the 401k and its cousin, the 403b. These are tax advantage retirement accounts offered by many employers. The 401k is common in private companies, and the 403b is typically for public schools or nonprofit organization employees. The key feature here is that you contribute pre-tax earnings. That means your contribution comes out of your paycheck before federal income taxes are assessed, which lowers your current taxable income. The money then grows tax deferred. In 2026, the IRS has increased the 401k employee elective deferral limit to $24,500, up from $23,500 in 2025. Participants age 50 and older can make additional catch-up contributions of $8,000 for a total of $32,500. A special super catch-up is available for individuals aged 60 to 63, which allows for $11,250 in extra contributions, bringing your total contributions to $35,750. But here's the most crucial part. Many employers offer a match, sometimes dollar for dollar up to 6% of your pay. If your company offers a match, you should contribute at least enough to get that full match. It is quite literally free money. When you take your employer's match, your new total limit, meaning the contributions you make as an employee and the contributions from your employer, can go up to $72,000. Now here's a pro tip. Every time you get a raise or a bonus, increase your contribution percentage accordingly. It's an easy and effective way to put more money into your nest egg without feeling the pinch. Let's take a quick look at an example where an investor named Robert is 40 years old with an income of $65,000 a year. He expects to get a 3% increase on his salary till he retires at 65. Robert has never contributed into a 401k plan before, but he just turned 40 and realized that he needs to get serious about retirement. So he decided to start saving 20% of his income. Now, based on Robert's age and risk profile, he selects a growth portfolio inside the 401k, which we will assume has an expected annual return of 10%. Now, Robert is fortunate enough to be working at a company who offers a dollar for dollar match up to 6%. So as you can see here on the screen, he has saved over $473,000 from his paycheck in 25 years. That is huge. Over the years, his 401k could grow to over $1.7 million, as you can see here represented with the blue bar. But the beauty in this example is that Robert's employer has kicked in an additional $142,000 worth of contributions for free. And when we add in the employer match, his 401k balance jumps to over $2.2 million, as you can see in the orange bar. Now, what if Robert says he wants to wait 2 years before he starts making 401k contributions? So instead of starting at age 40, he starts at 42. Let's see what happens if he just delays it by 24 months. If we keep all the other variables the same, his 401k balance, including the employer match, could grow to over $1.7 million, which sounds good. But that 2-year delay cost Robert over $447,000, almost as much as he saved from his paycheck over the last 25 years he contributed into the plan. Next up, the traditional IRA. IRA stands for Individual Retirement Account. This is an account where your contributions may be tax deductible and your investments grow tax deferred. Now, the withdrawals in retirement are considered taxable income, and if you take money out before age 59 and a half, you may face an additional 10% IRS penalty. The contribution limit for 2026 is $7,500 and $8,600 if you're 50 or older. As I just mentioned, your contributions into an IRA may be deductible, similar to a 401k, thus reducing your taxable income. Unfortunately, this deduction might be phased out based on your income or if you're covered by a retirement plan at work. You can see the phase-out limits here on the screen. Make sure you check with your tax professional to see if your contributions are deductible. Now, if your company doesn't offer a 401k plan, you might want to consider setting up a traditional IRA to reduce your taxable income and save for retirement. But what if your company does offer a 401k? Should you contribute there or into an IRA? They both have similar tax advantages, so which one is better for you? If your employer offers some sort of a match on your contributions, then the 401k makes more sense. Also, if you plan on contributing more than the max contribution limit, which is $7,500 or $8,600 in 2026, the 401k would be more suitable since it has higher contribution limits. But what if you don't plan to contribute more than the annual limit, your 401k doesn't offer a match, and it has high administrative fees and crappy investment options? Well, in that case, you might want to set up a traditional IRA where you can have a large investment selection as opposed to the limited options in the company 401k. Also keep in mind that a traditional IRA is portable, meaning unlike a 401k plan that doesn't come along with you when you leave the company, a traditional IRA is yours and you can control where it's held and change the beneficiaries whenever you want. And now the Roth IRA. This is one of my favorite retirement accounts. A Roth IRA allows you to make after-tax contributions that grow tax-deferred, and qualified withdrawals in retirement are completely tax-free. In essence, you're paying the taxes now to save on taxes later. The contribution limits in 2026 are the same as a traditional IRA, which is $7,500 or $8,600 if you are 50 or older. The major difference? Contributions to a Roth IRA are not tax deductible, and your income may make you ineligible to contribute, so check with your tax professional. You can see the income eligibility here on the screen. The big payoff is that your withdrawals in retirement are not taxable. Based on your income tax bracket at retirement, this could make a huge difference in your monthly income. So if you're younger and have a long time horizon until retirement, a Roth IRA can make tremendous sense because you allow those tax-free contributions to compound for 20, 30, or even 40 years. Let's take a quick look at an example so you get a better understanding of the difference between a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA. Our investor Elizabeth is 30 years old and wants to plan towards financial independence. She works at a small family-owned business that doesn't offer any benefits, so she has to plan for her own future. But she's not sure if she should save in a regular IRA or a Roth IRA. So let's plug in some of her information and see what happens. Elizabeth also makes $65,000 a year and is able to max out her IRA contributions at $7,500. This amount will go up once she is 50 years old. So if she continues to contribute into her plan till she is 65, she would have saved over $279,000. Elizabeth is young, so she also opts for a growth portfolio, which we will assume grows at a 10% average rate of return. Since she is single, based on her income, her current tax rate is 22%. To keep things simple, we will assume in this example that her tax rate will stay the same when she retires. We can always mess with this number. Most people assume that they will be in a lower tax bracket at retirement, and that is true for some, but Elizabeth is young and has a long time to grow her income and assets, so she might even be in a higher tax bracket in the future. We don't know what tax brackets will look like in 20 to 30 years, so let's leave it the same for now. So after 35 years of saving, here are Elizabeth's results. If she made the $279,000 of contributions into the traditional IRA, her account could grow to $2.274 million. Since the contributions are tax deductible, she also gets $300,000 worth of tax savings over the years. So we would add that on top of her account value. But when the time comes to withdraw the funds, Elizabeth can expect to pay over $500,000 in taxes, since traditional IRA distributions are taxable as income. So if we subtract that, then the value at retirement is a little over $2 million. Now let's take a look at the Roth IRA. Here Elizabeth would have made the same $279,000 worth of contributions over 35 years. Since the funds were invested in the same portfolio as a traditional IRA, her balance would be the same, $2.274 million. Since the Roth IRA contributions are after tax, there is no tax deduction or savings. But here's the big one, Roth IRA withdrawals are tax-free, so there are no taxes at retirement, which means if Elizabeth has $2.2 million in her Roth, she can pull out $2.2 million and not pay a penny to the IRS. Based on a specific example, you can see here that Elizabeth is better off contributing into a Roth IRA instead of a traditional IRA. In fact, she would be $200,000 ahead. You can see here in this chart, things are neck and neck till about the 15-year time frame and break apart at the 20-year mark when Elizabeth is 50. Keep in mind that all of these are hypotheticals, but I share this because many people ask me when is it worth contributing to a Roth instead of a traditional IRA. I usually let them know that they won't see the benefits of the Roth unless they have a 15 to 20-year time frame. Anything below that, and it could be a draw. One last thing before we move on to the next retirement account. If Elizabeth waits till she is 35 to start contributing to a retirement account, meaning she puts away over $241,000 in her plan instead of $279,000, her balance would be $1.395 million. Meaning that waiting 5 years or saving $37,000 less costs her over $878,000. That is a huge swing in her account value. Finally, for all my entrepreneurs and small business owners out there, let's talk about the SEP IRA. SEP stands for Simplified Employee Pension. This is a retirement savings account that allows business owners to make contributions that can be tax deductible and the investments grow tax deferred. Similar to a traditional IRA, withdrawals are taxed as income. The contribution limit for 2026 is a lesser of 25% of your compensation or $72,000. The flexibility here is huge. You don't have to commit to contributing every year, and the SEP IRA is easy to set up and administer. Now, a word of caution. If you have eligible employees, you are generally required to contribute to their SEP IRAs at the same rate you contribute to your own. So keep this in mind before you elect this type of retirement account. But if it's just you, you're good to go. All right, we've covered the 401k, traditional IRA, Roth IRA, and the SEP IRA. Now let's talk about the 3 of the biggest mistakes I see investors make. We've already discussed the first one, procrastination. So I won't go too deep here, but I think it's worth repeating. As you saw in the examples I gave, 5 years costs Elizabeth over $800,000. Take advantage of compound interest. The second biggest mistake I see all the time is people leave free money on the table. Many employees fail to contribute enough to trigger their full employer match. They are contributing only 2 or 3% when the employer matches up to 6%. This is essentially 100% immediate return on your investment that you are walking away from. You saw in our previous example how removing the employer match lowered Robert's nest egg by hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay, the last mistake, and I unfortunately see this all the time, especially now, the leakage trap, hardship withdrawals. One of the most significant trends in 2026 is a rise in retirement plan leakage. According to Vanguard's How America Saves report, roughly 6% of participants are now taking hardship withdrawals, often to cover immediate crises like avoiding foreclosure or medical bills, treating their 401k as an emergency fund. While I have sympathy for those who feel that they have no choice, it's important to remember that this is not the intended purpose of a retirement account. Beyond a 10% early withdrawal penalty for those under 59.5, you lose decades of compound growth. A $1,000 withdrawal today could represent tens of thousands of dollars in lost future gains. It's best to build up an emergency fund specifically for situations like these. All right, now that you have a clear understanding of how these accounts work and the 3 biggest traps to avoid, you're equipped to start saving towards financial independence. If you still have questions, comment below or schedule some time to chat with me. Also, make sure you grab this handy cheat sheet full of great tax savings info for 2026. Many of the items we covered can be found in this 2-page reference guide. You can download it for free by clicking the link below or going to this QR code. If you found this information helpful, take a look at the other courses I made. I'm Alex Chalekian. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.